As correctly put, we expect a landmark judgment from the High Court terminating or dealing with the issues of impeachment of His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua. Of course, each party had an opportunity to bite the cherry, and we believe that we, for the petitioners, that we did, and we put our best foot forward. The most interesting thing I would wish to point out in this particular space are two issues. One, that in the petition that His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua filed, he amended his petition and sought for compensation for the remainder of the period. That is to say, if the High Court finds that the impeachment was unlawful, he sought for compensation. Number two, it's important to note that there were other petitions, about, I think, 10 more petitions, if my memory serves me well, that were not seeking for compensation, but was seeking for the quashing of the impeachment. The most important thing to note is that even for the High Court to arrive at a decision to compensate His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, it must first of all make a finding that the impeachment was unlawful. So there's no possibility that the compensation can ensue without the court making a finding that the impeachment was unlawful and quashing it. So there are two issues that will arise if the petitions are to be admitted in our favor. One is that the impeachment will be quashed if the High Court agrees with the petitioners. Number two is that upon the quashing of that impeachment, we will revert to the status quo ante. Status quo ante is to say, we will go to where we were before the impeachment. That is to say, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua will be reinstated as a Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, notwithstanding that his petition has sought for compensation, because you cannot compensate unless you find that the impeachment was unlawful. The second consequential issue that will flow from that finding is that the current holder of that office, Mr. Kindiki, will therefore have to cease holding that office. For one reason, that the process through which he came into office will have been faulted, will have been found to be unconstitutional, will have been found to be null and void. So if that process through which he came into office is found to be null and void, it is not therefore possible that he can continue holding that particular office. Number two is that if His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua is to be compensated, remember, he must first of all be reinstated. And the court has no capacity to say that we have reinstated you and removed you because you sought for compensation. We will revert back to the status quo as we were. That is therefore to say, if His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua would at one particular point want to quit office, and he does not want to work with Kasongo anymore, then he has to tender his resignation. If he tenders his resignation, it will therefore mean that he will not be compensated for the remainder of the years that he has not served. He will only be compensated to the extent of the inconvenience caused by the impeachment. In my view, those are the issues that we expect that will emerge if the petitions will be admitted by the High Court. Of course, the converse is true. If they are not going to be admitted, the petition will not be successfully admitted, it means that parties will escalate the matter to the Court of Appeal to make a determination whether or not the High Court was right in failing to admit the petitions. But the most important thing to note is the consequences that will ensue upon admission of these particular petitions. So we expect, if the petitions are going to be admitted, Kindiki must vacate office, whether he likes it or not. Remember, these petitions, they have also challenged the process through which, independently, the process through which Article 149 was actuated. We have argued before the High Court, and this is not sub judice, because this was being done in public, is on record. We have argued before the High Court that through which Article 149 that was trying to address the vacancy was actuated, again, was unconstitutional, that it never followed the Constitution. So there are two things that might happen here. The High Court may fail to find that the petition are successful, but also make a finding that the process that was followed while replacing the vacancy that accrued was unconstitutional. That is to say, therefore, that if the petition fails and the impeachment is upheld, but the court finds that Kindeke's process, that the Kindeke never came into office through the rightful process, again he has to vacate. So that is a multifaceted approach in a snapshot of what we expect. That we're not just looking at the impeachment alone. We're also looking and interrogating the process through which Kindeke office was, through which the vacancy was occupied. Remember, we argued that it was not possible to occupy that office and create a replacement in the absence of the commission. The court has to make a finding to that effect. Remember, we argued that it was not likely possible that Kindeke could hold office without the application of public participation under Article 118. Again, the court has to make that finding. So we're not just looking at the impeachment petition alone. We're also looking at how the office was occupied, how he occupied office, and the consequences ensuing therefrom for failure to follow the constitutional laid down principles. Thank you, Dibal. I yield.
Dibal, allow me to speak. Dibal, I don't know if you can hear me. Dibal, you can hear me?
All right, Joshua, can you hear me? Joshua, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
Yes, continue. Yes, continue.
It's only that there's echo. Maybe you could mute on your end so that I can speak. So you can hear me. So can I proceed? Any other person?
Yes, proceed. I can hear you.
Okay, let me proceed. So thank you.